The night is gentle now. The noise of the day has faded into stillness. The burdens of work, the rushing thoughts, the endless lists of what must be done, all have softened, like the last light of sunset slipping quietly behind the hills. This is the sacred space of evening. A time for your spirit to settle. A time to rest in the presence of the One who watches over you. Welcome, dear listener, to Whispers of Faith. A place where Scripture becomes not just words on a page, but a lullaby for the heart. Tonight we will walk slowly, peacefully, through one of the most beloved passages of the Bible. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Oi. These words have carried comfort through countless generations. They have been prayed by kings and whispered by shepherds. They have guided weary travelers and soothed restless souls. And now, in this quiet night, they are here for you. Let yourself rest as these words unfold. Feel the bed beneath you, steady and safe. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your breath fall into a calm rhythm. Inhale slowly, as if drawing in peace. Exhale gently, as if letting go of every weight. The Lord, who shepherded David in green pastures and still waters, is the same Lord who shepherds you now. This time is not for striving, not for worry, not for planning tomorrow. This is a time to dwell in peace, to remember that the One who made the heavens also knows your name. The One who guides the stars in their courses also guides your steps. The One who tends the flock with gentle care tends to you with the same devotion. Psalm 23 begins not with a command, but with assurance. The Lord is my shepherd. Oi. Not a shepherd far away. Not a shepherd unreachable. But my shepherd. Close. Present. Tender. Tonight, these words will become like a gentle hand on your shoulder. A reminder that you are never alone. So as the story of this psalm unfolds, let your mind picture the scenes it paints. A field bathed in golden light. A quiet stream flowing like a hymn. A shepherd walking beside his sheep with staff in hand. Each image is not just a story of long ago. It is a reflection of your own life in God's care. Here, at the beginning of our meditation, let go of the weight of today. Lay it at the feet of your shepherd. Let him carry what you no longer can. For his shoulders are strong. His heart is kind. And his care never fails. Now, rest in these words. The Lord is your shepherd. You shall not want. And with that truth, we step softly into the psalm. The Lord is my shepherd. These words open like a door into peace. A shepherd, gentle, watchful, steady. Guiding, guarding, and providing. This is the image David gave us. And tonight, it is the image that can cradle your spirit as you rest. Think of the shepherd in the quiet fields. He knows each sheep by name. He watches over them with patience that does not grow weary. When the sun rises, he leads them to pasture. When the shadows lengthen, he counts them carefully, ensuring none are lost. His staff is not only a tool of command, but of comfort. With it he steers the wandering, rescues the fallen, and fends away danger. So it is with the Lord. He is not a distant ruler, cold and unapproachable. He is a shepherd, walking close beside his flock. He is present in your steps, aware of your needs, tender toward your fears. To call him my shepherd is to confess that you are cared for deeply, that your life is not unseen, that you are led not by chance, but by love. The shepherd's care is constant. In the heat of day, he brings his flock to water. In the chill of night, he lies across the gate of the pen, his very body the barrier between the sheep and whatever prowls in the dark. He does not rest so that they may. He does not sleep so that they can close their eyes in peace. When David wrote, "The Lord is my shepherd," he spoke as one who had been both shepherd and sheep. He had carried the weight of watching over flocks. He had known the danger of lions and bears. He had felt the quiet pride of leading his sheep safely home at night. And he had also known what it was to be weary, to need rest, to need a guide greater than himself. In the Lord, he found both. The perfect shepherd who never fails. And so do you. Tonight, as you listen, remember that you too are part of his flock. The Lord knows your name. He knows your worries, your hopes, your wounds, and your prayers. He knows the burdens you carry and the dreams you hold quietly in your heart. He is not unaware. He is not absent. He is your shepherd. To be under the shepherd's care means you do not face life alone. It means the road before you, though sometimes hard, is never walked without his presence. It means your story is guided by hands stronger and kinder than your own. It means that even in valleys of fear, his staff is near to comfort you. Close your eyes. Imagine the shepherd's care as a gentle hand leading you along a safe path. Picture yourself in his flock, surrounded by peace, guided step by step. You are not hurried. You are not lost. You are held in perfect care. The Lord is your shepherd. His eyes are on you. His heart is for you. And his care surrounds you this night. I shall not want. With these words, the psalm speaks a promise that sinks deep into the heart. It is not the voice of denial, pretending there are no needs in life. It is the voice of trust, declaring that in the care of the shepherd, nothing is truly lacking. Want often grows loud in the mind. Desire for security, for certainty, for more than what is held in hand. The heart sometimes aches with what feels missing. Yet when David sang these words, he was not surrounded by wealth or plenty. He was a shepherd boy, familiar with hunger, with danger, with long days under a relentless sun. Still, he could say, I shall not want. Why? Because he had found that when the Lord is shepherd, the deepest needs are always met. Think of the sheep. They do not worry about tomorrow's pasture. They do not store up grass or guard streams of water. They simply follow the one who leads them. And in following, they find what they need. So it is with us. When we walk behind the shepherd, we may not have everything our hands desire, but our souls will never be left empty. No lack does not mean every wish is granted. It means that the true hunger of the heart, the need for peace, for love, for safety, for meaning, is always satisfied in the presence of God. A meal may be simple, a bed may be humble, a day may bring challenges. Yet with the Lord near, the soul rests content. This verse is not a call to ignore your longings. It is an invitation to see them differently. To recognize that beneath every want is a deeper yearning for God's nearness. When you feel the ache of insufficiency, it is answered not by possessions but by presence. The shepherd's presence. So tonight, let your heart rest in this truth. You are not abandoned. You are not left empty. Whatever tomorrow holds, the shepherd will meet you there with what you need. He knows before you ask. He provides before you see. He fills before you even understand the emptiness. Close your eyes now. Let the words repeat softly in your mind. I shall not want. Whisper it with your breath. Inhale with trust. Exhale with surrender. Each repetition is a stone placed upon the foundation of faith. Strong, steady, enduring. The Lord is your shepherd. And because he is your shepherd, you shall not want. For his love is enough. His peace is enough. His care is enough. He makes me lie down in green pastures. These words open like a window into rest. The picture is vivid, gentle, and timeless. A sheep resting safely on soft grass, its worries stilled, its hunger satisfied. The sun warming the earth, a breeze carrying the scent of new growth. No noise of battle, no threat of hunger, no need to keep wandering. Just peace. For David, who once tended sheep on the hills of Bethlehem, these words were not abstract. He had seen how restless a flock could be when food was scarce, when the ground was dry, when predators lingered near. Sheep do not lie down easily. They must feel safe, they must be full, they must be comforted by the presence of the shepherd. And so when David wrote, "He makes me lie down in green pastures," he was speaking of a rest only God can provide. A rest that begins not in the body but in the soul. Picture the pasture. Rolling hills brushed with grass that bends softly in the wind. The green is not harsh or fleeting. It is alive, fresh, full of life. The shepherd leads his flock there, guiding them from rocky paths and barren soil into a place of abundance. And once they are safe, once they are fed, once they are assured that he is near, the sheep lie down. They rest, not because of themselves, but because their shepherd has provided everything they need. So it is with us. God invites us into his pastures of peace. He does not rush us, he does not drive us with harshness. He leads with gentleness. He invites us to rest when our minds are weary from fear, when our hearts ache with longing, when our bodies carry burdens too heavy to bear. In His presence, the soul finds rest as surely as the sheep finds grass. Tonight, as you listen, let yourself imagine lying down in that pasture. The world behind you grows smaller. The troubles of the day fade like shadows at sunset. Around you stretches a field of stillness. Your shepherd is near, his staff steady, his watch unbroken. You are safe to rest. Green pastures are more than fields of grass. They are symbols of abundance, symbols of care. They remind us that God is not stingy with His love. He does not give in measure too small. He gives fully, freely, tenderly. His blessings are like pastures wide enough for every sheep, soft enough to hold every weary heart. In life, we often search for our own fields, chasing success, comfort, security. Yet we discover that none of them truly let us lie down. They demand more, they leave us restless. Only the pastures of God's presence bring true peace. Only in His care can we rest without fear that the grass will vanish tomorrow. So as you drift tonight, let the green pasture of Psalm 23 become your inner landscape. Close your eyes and see the gentle hills. Hear the quiet rustle of grass moving in rhythm with the wind. Feel the warmth of the earth beneath you, holding you steady. The shepherd stands nearby, watchful, patient, kind. His presence is your guarantee that nothing will harm you here. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Let these words linger as a lullaby over your heart. You are not restless tonight. You are not wandering tonight. You are resting in the pasture of God's love. And His love is enough. He leads me beside still waters. With these words, the psalm moves from the image of soft grass to the sound of quiet streams. The sheep, once fed and rested in the pasture, are now guided toward refreshment. Not rushing rivers that overwhelm, not stagnant pools that fail to satisfy, but still waters. Gentle, calm, life-giving. Water is life. For the sheep, it quenches thirst, restores strength, cools the body under the weight of the sun. For the soul, it is the symbol of renewal, cleansing, refreshment. David had seen how sheep, timid by nature, will not drink from water that rushes loudly. They are unsettled by turbulence. They need stillness. And so the shepherd leads them to calm streams, where their thirst can be satisfied in peace. Think of the stream in this verse. Clear water flowing softly over smooth stones. The surface unbroken except for ripples that glimmer in the light. The air cool and fragrant with the scent of earth and growing things. The shepherd kneels nearby, his presence steady, while the sheep bow their heads to drink. No fear, no haste, no worry. Only the quiet rhythm of thirst met by abundance. So it is with the Lord. He does not lead you to waters that drown, nor to emptiness that leaves you dry. He leads you to stillness, where peace settles your thoughts, where His Spirit refreshes your weary heart. The waters He offers are not for the body alone. They are for the soul. Living water that satisfies the deepest thirst. Tonight, as you rest, imagine yourself beside that stream. The noise of the day is behind you, like distant thunder fading into memory. Before you is only calm. Water flowing gently, inviting you to kneel, to drink, to be renewed. Listen closely. In your spirit, you can hear the stream whispering words of peace. Be still. Rest. You are safe. Still waters are more than refreshment. They are reassurance. A reminder that God leads not only through strength, but through peace. He does not drive His children harshly. He invites them gently. He restores slowly, kindly, with care. Close your eyes now. Let the sound of the stream wash over your mind. Let it rinse away the dust of the day. Let it cleanse the burdens that clung to you. Breathe in slowly, as if drinking deeply of His peace. Breathe out gently, releasing every fear into His hands. He leads me beside still waters. Let that promise soothe you tonight. You are not wandering in dry lands. You are not left thirsty in barren places. Your shepherd leads you to stillness. And in that stillness, your soul is refreshed. He restores my soul. These words fall softly, like rain after drought. Gentle yet powerful, simple yet immeasurable. Restoration. Not just of strength to the body, but of life to the very center of who we are. To restore is to bring back what was lost, to heal what was wounded, to refresh what was weary. It is God's tender work, shaping what has grown thin into fullness again. David knew what it was to be worn down. Long days in the fields, endless watchfulness for lions and bears, the weight of caring for sheep who so easily wandered. He also knew the weariness of the heart. The ache of rejection, the press of danger, the heaviness of sin and failure. Yet in all of it, he discovered this truth: the Lord restores the soul. Picture a weary traveler walking through a desert. The sun is merciless, the sand endless. His steps grow heavy, his throat dry. He feels as though his strength will vanish with the next step. And then, an oasis. Palm trees casting shade, water glimmering cool and clear, fruit hanging within reach. The traveler drinks, rests, breathes again. His life is restored. So it is with the soul when the shepherd draws near. Restoration comes in many ways. Sometimes it is as simple as a moment of quiet, when the shepherd stills your racing thoughts and invites you to breathe. Sometimes it is forgiveness, when guilt has weighed heavily and His mercy lifts the burden, leaving the heart clean again. Sometimes it is hope, when despair had whispered that all is lost. God speaks softly, "I am with you. I am not finished with you." And suddenly the darkness begins to break apart like mist under morning light. Think of your own soul tonight. Perhaps you have carried more than you realized. responsibilities that pressed against your spirit, disappointments that lingered, fears that crept close when the world was quiet. These burdens leave the soul weary. But here, in the presence of the shepherd, restoration begins. He does not rush the process. He does not demand that you fix yourself. He gently, patiently restores. The Hebrew word for restore carries the meaning of to return, to refresh, to bring back. It is as if the soul, having wandered far or grown thin, is called back into its true place of peace. The shepherd does not simply mend. He renews. He makes the heart whole again. Imagine lying in the green pasture from the verse before. The grass soft beneath you. The still waters near, their sound like a hymn of calm. And above you the shepherd stands guard. In that setting, your heart begins to unclench. The knots of worry begin to loosen. Your breathing deepens. This is restoration. Not sudden or loud, but slow, steady, undeniable. At times, the soul is broken by grief. Losses that seem too heavy to carry. Tears that fall like rivers. Even then, the shepherd draws near. He does not hurry you through sorrow. He sits with you in it. His rod and staff steadying, his hand upon your shoulder. And in his presence, even grief begins to be reshaped. Not erased, but held. Not denied, but comforted. And slowly, strength returns. At other times, the soul is broken by sin. Choices made that way like chains. Guilt whispering lies of unworthiness. But the shepherd restores by forgiveness. His mercy washes the soul clean. His grace reopens what shame had closed. And suddenly, the heart that once bent low can lift again toward the light of his love. And still at other times, the soul is not broken by loss or sin but by weariness. Simply the heaviness of living. The endless tasks, the ceaseless noise, the quiet exhaustion of carrying on day after day. In these moments, restoration is rest. God calling you to lie down in His presence, to be still, to know that He is God. To let go of striving and simply be His. Tonight, as you listen, imagine that the shepherd is restoring your soul even now. Picture Him lifting the burdens off your back. Imagine Him washing your heart with peace, like cool water over weary skin. Feel the heaviness dissolve as His presence covers you. Your soul, once stretched thin, is being made whole again. Restoration is not only for tonight. It is the rhythm of the shepherd's care each day. He restores in the morning, when new mercies rise with the dawn. He restores in the evening, when shadows fall and He invites you to rest in trust. He restores in every valley, in every pasture, in every still stream of your life. His work is constant, faithful, unbroken. So breathe deeply now. Inhale the peace of His presence. Exhale the burdens of your day. With each breath, imagine your soul being restored, strength flowing back, peace returning, hope rising like dawn. He restores my soul. Let this truth cradle you tonight. No matter how weary, no matter how broken, no matter how lost you may feel, your shepherd is near. His hand is gentle. His care is perfect. His love is endless. And even now, even in this very moment, He is restoring your soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. The psalm turns now from rest to direction, from lying in green pastures and drinking from still waters to walking again, guided by the shepherd. Life is never only stillness. There are roads to travel, choices to make, steps to take. And in all of them, the shepherd leads. The word paths here paints the picture of well-worn trails across the hills. A shepherd does not drive the sheep aimlessly. He knows the safe way, the tested way, the way that avoids cliffs and danger. His flock may not understand where each turn leads, but they trust His steps. So too the Lord leads His children. Not into confusion or chaos, but into righteousness. Into ways that are good, steady, faithful, and true. Imagine a winding trail stretching across the hills of Israel. The sun overhead, the breeze carrying the scent of earth and wildflowers. The sheep move one by one, each step falling into the marks of the one ahead. They are not hurried, they are not lost. The shepherd walks before them, his staff marking the way. Every rise and dip of the ground is known to him. He has walked it before. And so he leads them safely through. Righteousness here is not cold law but right relationship. It is walking in harmony with God, in steps that honor Him and bring peace to the soul. To follow in the shepherd's path is to be shaped slowly, day by day, into His likeness. It is not perfection demanded, but faithfulness nurtured. For His name's sake. This is the reason the shepherd leads. Not because of our merit, not because of our strength, but because of who He is. His name is His character. His faithfulness, His love, His promise. When He leads us, He is showing the world who He is. Guiding us not for our glory, but for His. And in that, there is peace. For His name cannot fail. His promises cannot be broken. His path will never lead astray. Think of your own steps. Sometimes the road has been smooth, and you have walked easily. At other times, it has been steep, rocky, uncertain. Perhaps even now, you walk a path you do not understand. Yet the shepherd is leading. His wisdom sees what you cannot. His care chooses ways that seem hidden, but are sure. His presence ensures that even if the path is hard, it is still good. Tonight, as you lie in stillness, imagine the shepherd walking before you. His staff in hand, his pace steady, his eyes attentive to every detail of the path. You are following, not alone but with Him. Each step you take is guided, each direction chosen by love. The path may bend, it may rise and fall, but it is a path of righteousness. And it will bring you closer to Him. He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Rest in this truth. Your steps are not wasted. Your journey is not aimless. You are being led, not by chance, but by the Shepherd who knows every turn, who guards every step, who calls you into His righteousness for His glory. For His name's sake. The psalm slows here. It lingers on the reason why the Shepherd leads, why He restores, why He provides. It is not because the sheep are strong, not because they have earned favor, not because they never stray. The Shepherd's care flows from who He is. His name, His character, His glory. In the ancient world, a name was more than a label. It carried the weight of reputation, identity, promise. A name revealed who a person truly was. And when Scripture speaks of God's name, it is speaking of His very essence. His mercy, His faithfulness, His truth, His holiness. To act for His name's sake is to act in perfect harmony with His own unchanging nature. When the Lord leads us in paths of righteousness, He does so because it reflects His faithfulness. When He restores our souls, it reveals His mercy. When He brings us to green pastures and still waters, it declares His kindness. The Shepherd cannot deny His name. He cannot fail His promises. And so His care for us is not fragile, not uncertain. It is rooted in the eternal strength of His very being. Think of a shepherd in the hills. His flock bears His mark. They are known to belong to Him. When He leads them safely, when He protects them faithfully, His reputation is upheld. So it is with God. His people bear His name. His care for them proclaims His goodness to the world. Every act of guidance, every moment of mercy, every touch of provision whispers His character into creation. For His name's sake. These words are both comfort and assurance. They mean that your security is not grounded in your performance, not in your ability to be perfect, but in God's steadfastness. You may stumble, but His name is still faithful. You may wander, but His name is still merciful. You may grow weary, but His name is still strong. Tonight, as you rest, let this truth settle into your heart. You are loved not because you have earned it, but because love is who He is. You are guided not because you always know the way, but because He is the shepherd who cannot forget His flock. You are restored not because you are flawless, but because His mercy is endless. Imagine His name as a banner unfurled over your life, written not in ink but in light, steady, shining, unbreakable. Wherever you walk, it goes with you. Whatever you face, it covers you. Whatever you fear, it speaks louder than fear. God's name is His promise. And He has tied that promise to your care. That means nothing in your life is wasted. Nothing is overlooked. Nothing is forgotten. Each moment is gathered into His faithfulness. Each path is guided by His love. Each valley is lit by His presence. Think of the times you felt alone. Moments when it seemed your prayers fell silent. Yet here is the truth: His name had not left you. His faithfulness had not faded. His care had not abandoned you. Even in silence, His name remained your anchor. Even in darkness, His name was your light. Now breathe in deeply. Inhale the assurance that His care does not rest on shifting sand. Exhale the fear that you are left to yourself. Repeat softly in your heart, for His name's sake. With every breath, let the words settle deeper, until they become the rhythm of your rest. For His name's sake. These 4 words carry eternity in them. They mean that God's love for you is steady as the stars. They mean that His promises will not break even when your strength falters. They mean that tonight, as you lie down to rest, you are held not by chance, not by effort, but by the everlasting faithfulness of the Shepherd who cannot deny His name. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. The psalm takes a turn here. From green pastures and still waters, from restoration and guidance, to the valley. Not a place of light, but of shadow. Not a place of ease, but of danger. And yet even here, the Shepherd is near. The valley of the shadow of death. These words reach into the deepest fears of the human heart. The fear of suffering, of loss, of loneliness, of death itself. Every soul has valleys. Times when the sun seems hidden, when the way forward is dark, when each step feels uncertain. Perhaps you have walked through such valleys before. Perhaps you walk through one now. Yet the psalm declares a truth that does not falter: even here, you are not alone. Picture the valley. Steep cliffs rise on either side, their shadows falling across the narrow path. The air is cool, heavy with silence. Rocks scatter the ground, and caves in the distance seem to hide unseen threats. The sheep move slowly, uneasy, pressing close together. Yet at the front, the shepherd walks with staff in hand. His eyes scan every shadow, his ears alert to every sound. He does not abandon them to find their own way. He leads them through. This is the picture David paints. The Lord does not only lead us to still waters and green pastures. He also walks with us in the darkest places. The valley is not avoided, but it is never walked alone. The shepherd's presence changes its meaning. It is no longer the valley of despair. It becomes the valley of trust. Notice the shift in the psalm. Until now, David has spoken about the shepherd. He makes me lie down. He leads me. He restores my soul. But here, in the valley, the words change. You are with me. The valley brings God closer. It is no longer a truth spoken at a distance. It is a prayer, a conversation, a cry of trust. In the shadow, God is addressed not as He, but as you. This is the comfort of the valley. When fear whispers, when danger presses close, the shepherd is not spoken of as far away. He is with you, nearer than your breath, steady in the darkness. His rod and his staff comfort, his presence surrounds. Think of your own valleys. The nights of worry, the days of sorrow, the times of uncertainty. Each one is a shadow, casting its darkness across your spirit. Yet shadows are powerless without light. A shadow only exists because light is present somewhere near. Even in the valley, the light of God is close. The shadow may fall across your path, but it cannot destroy you. The valley of the shadow of death is not the end. It is a passage. It is walked through, not into forever. David writes, "Though I walk through," he does not remain there, he does not end there. The shepherd leads through. What feels endless will not last forever. What feels suffocating will open to light again. For the believer, even death itself is only a shadow. Its sting has been broken. Its power undone by the one who is the resurrection and the life. To walk through its valley is to be accompanied by the shepherd who has already overcome. Death looms large, but it is only a shadow of something greater. And shadows cannot harm those who walk in the light of Christ. Tonight, as you lie in stillness, perhaps you feel your own valleys pressing in. Fears that whisper loudly. Worries about tomorrow. Memories of loss that ache in the dark. Let the shepherd's presence meet you here. Close your eyes and imagine him beside you. His staff steady, his footsteps sure. He does not hurry you. He matches your pace. He guards each side of the narrow path. His presence makes the valley bearable. His love makes the valley passable. Breathe slowly. With each breath, release fear into his hands. Inhale peace. Exhale worry. Whisper softly in your heart, "You are with me." Let those words become your lullaby tonight. In every shadow, they are true. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Let this verse wrap around you like a cloak of light. The valley may be real, but the shepherd is greater. The shadows may fall, but the presence of God shines brighter. Tonight, you are not alone. And you will never be alone. I will fear no evil. The words rise softly from the heart of the psalm, like a lamp lit in the darkest night. They are not shouted in defiance. They are whispered in trust. Not the denial of fear, but its quiet undoing. For the shepherd is near. And his presence dissolves what terror builds. Fear has many faces. Sometimes it comes as the dread of what is unknown. Sometimes as the memory of wounds that have not healed. Sometimes as the gnawing thought of loss, failure, or rejection. Fear can stalk like a shadow, following close, whispering lies, pressing heavily against the soul. But here, David declares what all believers may learn: fear does not have the final word. I will fear no evil. Notice that the psalm does not promise the absence of evil. The valley is real. Shadows exist. Danger still lurks. Yet in the midst of these, the psalmist rests in assurance: evil will not rule him, for God is present with him. Picture the sheep in the valley again. Their ears catch sounds in the dark. A wolf howls in the distance. The path is narrow, the cliffs steep. Their instincts say, "Be afraid." Yet the shepherd walks before them. His staff strikes the ground with steady rhythm. His voice calls gently. His presence calms their trembling. They cannot remove the valley, but they can walk through it without fear, because He is there. So it is with us. Evil may still move in the world. Shadows may still fall. But the shepherd's presence transforms the experience. What once seemed unbearable becomes endurable. What once seemed threatening becomes powerless. Fear shrinks when faith looks up and whispers, "You are with me." Fear thrives in loneliness. When we believe we are alone, the shadows seem larger than life. But when God is near, fear is unmasked for what it truly is: a shadow without substance. For no evil, no darkness, no enemy is greater than the shepherd who walks beside his sheep. Think of Jesus calming the storm. His disciples trembled as the waves crashed, but he stood, raised his hand, and spoke, "Peace, be still." The sea obeyed. Their fear was silenced not by the absence of storm, but by the presence of the one who commands the storm. So it is with the valley. The fear is undone not because shadows vanish, but because the Lord walks beside you. Tonight, as you listen, let those words settle into your spirit. I will fear no evil. Let them become the rhythm of your breathing. Inhale, I will fear no evil. Exhale, for you are with me. With each breath, let fear loosen its grip. With each whisper, let faith settle deeper. Imagine now the shepherd walking at your side. The darkness of the valley still surrounds. Yet his presence is light. His staff glows with unseen strength, his hand steady, his pace unhurried. You are not abandoned. You are not left to face the valley alone. And so you need not fear. This truth does not mean life will never bring shadows. It means that even when shadows come, you are guarded. Evil may threaten, but it cannot claim you. Fear may whisper, but it cannot control you. The shepherd's presence holds you, shields you, steadies you. Consider the times you have faced fear in your life. And yet you are here, carried by a strength greater than your own. That same strength is with you tonight. The God who has brought you this far will not abandon you now. I will fear no evil. Let the words echo in your mind as sleep draws near. You are held by the shepherd's presence, guarded by his staff, carried by his love. Fear has no place where God is. And tonight, He is with you. For you are with me. The psalm reaches its tender heart here. Until now, David has spoken about God. He makes me lie down. He leads me. He restores my soul. He guides me in righteous paths. But in the valley, when shadows deepen and fear presses close, the language shifts. It is no longer he. It becomes you. The shepherd is no longer described from afar. He is addressed directly. Near, personal, intimate. This is the mystery of suffering, of shadowed valleys. When life is bright, it is easy to speak of God as though He is outside of us, above us, a figure we describe. But when the night comes, and the heart trembles, God draws close. He is not simply He. He is you. The one we cry to in whispers, the one we lean upon when our steps falter. For you are with me. For simple words, yet they carry the weight of eternity. They are the answer to loneliness, the balm for fear, the cure for despair. They remind us that the shepherd never leaves his flock. His presence is not seasonal, not conditional, not fragile. It is constant, faithful, unbreakable. Picture yourself walking through a valley at night. The cliffs rise on either side. The path is narrow. Shadows stretch long, and sounds echo from unseen places. You are not sure what lies ahead. Yet beside you walks the shepherd, his staff steady in his hand, his pace unhurried, his nearness a shield stronger than walls. The darkness does not vanish, but it no longer terrifies. For you are with me. This is the promise of Emmanuel, God with us. The God of creation, infinite and holy, choosing to dwell near His people. Not only in palaces and temples, but in valleys and shadows. He is with you in the green pastures. He is with you beside still waters. He is with you when the soul is restored. And He is with you when the path winds through shadow and fear. The greatest comfort in life is not the absence of hardship. It is the presence of God. We are never promised ease, but we are promised nearness. Not that the journey will always be light, but that the shepherd's hand will always rest upon us. Tonight, as you lie in the stillness of your room, let those words become your blanket. For you are with me. Whisper them softly in your heart. Let them fall in rhythm with your breathing. Inhale, you are. Exhale, with me. With every breath, the truth settles deeper. Think of the times you have felt alone. The nights when tears fell and no one saw. The days when burdens pressed and no one understood. Even then, the shepherd was with you. Unseen, but present. Silent, but near. His hand steadying you, His eyes watching over you, His heart carrying what you could not. And tonight, He is still with you. Nearer than the beating of your heart, closer than the air you breathe. He is with you in the quiet, in the shadows, in the rest that comes after long days. You are never abandoned, never forgotten, never unseen. For you are with me. Let these words become the final thought before sleep. Whatever shadows surround you, the shepherd is beside you. Whatever fears whisper, his presence silences them. Tonight, you are not alone. And you never will be. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The shepherd is not only a guide. He is also a protector. His hands do not only lead to green pastures and still waters. They also defend against what lurks in the shadows. The rod and the staff are not ornaments. They are tools of care, signs of strength, extensions of his constant watchfulness. And for the sheep, their sight brings comfort. The rod was a short, sturdy weapon, often carved from strong wood. A tool of authority, it was used to strike predators, to guard the flock from danger. The staff, longer and slender, curved at the end, was used to guide, to draw sheep close, to rescue them if they slipped from the path. One was for defense, the other for direction. Together, they formed a picture of the shepherd's complete care. Imagine the sheep in the valley. Shadows stretch across the rocks. The night air hums with sounds that stir unease. A wolf may prowl unseen, or a thief may linger in the distance. The flock trembles. But the shepherd stands tall, rod in one hand, staff in the other. His very stance declares, "You are safe. I will protect you. I will guide you." The sheep may not understand the dangers around them, but they understand the presence of their shepherd. And it calms them. So too with us. We may not see all the threats that press against us. We may not understand the battles fought in unseen places. Yet the Lord holds his rod and his staff. He guards us against evil, he guides us in our weakness, he draws us near when we wander. His authority and his care are constant. The rod speaks of strength. It tells us that God is not passive in the face of danger. He is not indifferent when harm approaches his children. He defends, he disciplines, he preserves. The staff speaks of tenderness. It tells us that God does not only rule with power, but with gentleness. He reaches out when we stumble, he lifts us when we fall, he draws us close when we drift away. Think of your own life. How many times has God's rod protected you from dangers you did not even see? How many times has his staff pulled you gently back when you wandered toward paths that would harm you? We often do not notice his work until we look back. But the truth is, his rod and his staff have always been at work. Always guarding, always guiding. There is comfort in knowing that God holds both. For if he had only the rod, we might fear his strength. If he had only the staff, we might doubt his power. But in his hands are both authority and tenderness, both strength and gentleness, both justice and mercy. Together, they form perfect care. Tonight, as you rest, imagine the shepherd standing at the edge of your valley, his rod firm in his right hand, his staff steady in his left, his eyes scanning the horizon, his stance unyielding, his heart full of love. Around you the night is quiet, not because danger does not exist, but because the shepherd's presence makes you safe. Let yourself breathe deeply in this assurance. Inhale, your rod protects me. Exhale, your staff guides me. With each breath, picture his care surrounding you, his strength pushing back the darkness, his gentleness drawing you closer, his presence settling peace over your heart. The comfort of the rod and staff is not found in their shape, but in the hands that hold them. The shepherd is skilled, wise, faithful. He knows when to strike against what threatens. He knows when to lift you gently from a stumble. He knows when to lead firmly and when to guide softly. His care is never careless, never clumsy, never uncertain. This is why David can say, "They comfort me." Not that the valley disappears. Not that fear never whispers. But that in the presence of the shepherd's rod and staff, the heart rests. The flock lies down in safety. The soul breathes again without dread. Consider this. The rod and staff are always visible to the sheep. Wherever the shepherd goes, they see them in his hands. They are reminders of his watchfulness. When he moves ahead, the sheep follow, reassured by the sight of those instruments of care. And when night falls, the faint outline of rod and staff is enough to calm the trembling of the flock. So it is with us. God's presence is not hidden. His authority is seen in His word, His gentleness in His spirit, His nearness in prayer. Even when the path is shadowed, even when fear lingers, the rod and staff of the shepherd stand before us. Visible, steady, constant. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Let this verse settle deep within you tonight. You are not unguarded. You are not without guidance. The shepherd holds both strength and tenderness for your sake. And in his hands, you are safe, you are led, you are comforted. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. The psalm takes another turn here. From valleys shadowed with fear, from rods and staffs of comfort, to the surprising image of a table. A banquet set not in a quiet meadow, not behind closed doors, but in the very presence of enemies. It is a picture of victory, of abundance, of peace that refuses to be shaken. In David's time, the table was a sign of fellowship, of covenant, of welcome. To be invited to a table was to be honored. To eat in safety was to know that one's needs were not only met, but celebrated. And here, the shepherd is not only protector and guide. He is host. He spreads a feast for his beloved. But notice where the table is set. Not far from danger, not after the enemies are gone, but in their presence. The shepherd does not wait for all threats to vanish before providing abundance. He shows his care in the very midst of struggle. He declares his victory not when the battle is finished, but even while shadows still linger. Picture the scene. A long table spread with bread and fruit, with cups brimming full, with oil gleaming in lamps that flicker softly. The flock gathers, but not in haste. They sit, they eat, they rest. Around them, enemies may watch with narrowed eyes. Yet none can approach. For the shepherd himself guards the feast. His rod is near, his staff steady. His presence turns a battlefield into a banquet hall. This is the strange beauty of God's care. He does not only give enough to survive. He gives more. He gives richly, abundantly, tenderly. He prepares a table, not crumbs. He fills cups to overflowing, not half measures. He welcomes his children not as guests of pity, but as honored ones, seated in joy. Think of your own life. How many times have you known God's provision not after troubles ended, but right in the middle of them? How many times has He given you strength while fears still lingered? Peace while storms still raged. Joy while burdens still pressed. That is the table of the shepherd. A feast prepared in the presence of whatever opposes you. This table is also a sign of victory. For enemies can only watch, powerless. They cannot stop the shepherd's blessing. They cannot prevent his abundance. They cannot undo his hospitality. Even in their presence, the table stands. Tonight, as you lie in stillness, imagine yourself seated at that table. Before you are plates of goodness, cups of peace, baskets of mercy. The shepherd sits at the head, his eyes full of love. Around, shadows may loom, voices may whisper, threats may linger. But none can harm you. For you are at his table. You are honored, protected, beloved. Let yourself breathe in that image. Inhale the fragrance of bread warm from the oven. Exhale the sound of laughter soft as music in your soul. With every breath, receive the assurance that God's provision is not small. It is abundant. It is overflowing. It is more than enough for this night, and for all nights to come. And notice, the table is not only for food. It is for fellowship. God prepares the table so that you may sit with Him, so that you may rest in His presence, so that you may know His nearness, not only as shepherd, but as host, as friend, as Father. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Let this promise hold you tonight. Whatever enemies surround your heart, fear, doubt, sorrow, they cannot keep you from the feast of God's presence. His table is set, His invitation given. And you are welcome here. You anoint my head with oil. The image shifts again. From the valley to the table. From the feast prepared in the face of enemies to the act of anointing. The shepherd is not only guide, protector, and host. He is also the one who blesses, who consecrates, who marks his beloved with honor. In the ancient world, oil carried deep meaning. It was poured on the head of priests and kings as a sign of calling. It was used in worship as a symbol of holiness. It was poured upon guests as a gesture of welcome and honor. It soothed the skin in dry lands. It healed wounds, softened scars, refreshed the weary. Oil was more than fragrance. It was blessing made visible. So when David writes, "You anoint my head with oil," he is declaring that God not only provides and protects, He blesses. He sets apart. He declares worth. The sheep are not only guarded, they are honored. They are not only safe, they are cherished. Picture the scene at the shepherd's table. The feast is prepared. The enemies stand at a distance, unable to disrupt the banquet. The shepherd approaches each of his beloved, and with his own hand, he pours oil gently upon their heads. The fragrance fills the air. The gesture speaks without words. You are mine. You are honored. You are beloved. For the sheep in David's day, oil also carried a practical purpose. A shepherd would pour oil on a sheep's head to keep away insects that tormented them, to heal scratches, to protect from irritation. The anointing was not only symbolic, it was tender care. So too with us. God's anointing is both honor and healing. It marks us as His, and it brings relief to wounds unseen. Think of your own life. How often have you longed not just for safety, but for blessing? Not just for survival, but for honor. Not just to be kept alive, but to be cherished. This is the promise of the shepherd. He does not leave you merely surviving. He anoints you with oil. He pours out blessing, healing, restoration. He calls you chosen, beloved, His own. Tonight, as you rest, imagine the shepherd's hand upon your head. The oil warm, fragrant, flowing gently. With it comes peace that settles the mind. With it comes healing that touches the soul's hidden wounds. With it comes assurance that you are not forgotten, not overlooked, not unworthy. You are anointed. You are honored. This anointing is not a one-time act. It is the daily, constant care of the Lord. Each morning, His mercy pours fresh. Each night, His peace covers again. Each season, His Spirit renews, heals, restores. The anointing of the shepherd is a continual reminder that His presence is never withdrawn. The oil also points forward. For David, who would one day be anointed as king, this image carried a shadow of destiny. And for us, it points to the greater anointing of the Spirit, poured out upon all who believe. A sign that God Himself dwells within, guiding, comforting, empowering. So breathe slowly now. Inhale, you anoint me. Exhale, I am yours. With every breath, let the assurance sink deeper. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are honored, cherished, blessed. You anoint my head with oil. Let this truth soothe you tonight. The shepherd's hand rests upon you. His blessing flows over you. His healing touches every wound. And in His presence, you are honored with a love that never ends. My cup overflows. The psalm now overflows with abundance. The shepherd does not only give what is needed. He gives more. Not just enough to survive, but more than enough to be filled, renewed, and satisfied. The image of the overflowing cup is one of blessing pressed down, shaken together, running over. Blessing that cannot be contained. In the ancient world, the cup at the table was a sign of welcome and fellowship. A host who filled your cup showed his generosity. But a host who let it overflow declared something greater. That you were not merely tolerated at his table. You were cherished, honored, celebrated. An overflowing cup was a promise. You will not lack here. You will not be sent away empty. You are welcome to drink until you are full. Picture the shepherd's table again. The bread is warm, the oil fragrant, the lamps glowing softly. And at each place, the cup is filled. Not barely to the brim, but overflowing. Running down the sides, spilling onto the table in abundance. No guest need wonder if there is enough. No one questions whether they are truly welcome. The shepherd's generosity leaves no doubt. This is the heart of God toward His children. He does not give sparingly. He does not measure His love in cautious drops. He pours it out until it overflows. His peace is more than enough for your worry. His mercy is more than enough for your sin. His strength is more than enough for your weakness. His presence is more than enough for your loneliness. The cup of His blessing never runs dry. Think of the ways your life has known overflow. A kindness unexpected. A prayer answered beyond what you imagined. A strength given when you thought you could not go on. These are the sips from an overflowing cup. Small glimpses of the vast generosity of the shepherd. And if these glimpses have come already, how much more will He pour in days to come? Tonight, as you lie in stillness, imagine that cup before you. Its surface shimmering, its edge spilling over. You do not need to clutch it tightly, fearing it may run out. You do not need to ration it, sip by sip. It is overflowing, abundant, endless. You may drink deeply of His peace. You may receive fully of His love. You may rest knowing there is more than enough. The cup is not only for you. An overflowing cup spills onto the table, touches others nearby. So too God's blessing flows outward. When He fills you, it is not only for your comfort. It is for others as well. Peace in your heart becomes peace you share. Mercy in your life becomes mercy you extend. Love received becomes love given. In this way, the overflowing cup of God turns into streams that refresh all who come near. Let yourself breathe into this truth. Inhale, my cup. Exhale, overflows. Each breath is a reminder that the shepherd gives without measure. His love spills into every corner of your being. His presence fills every empty place. His blessing exceeds every need. My cup overflows. Let this promise rest upon you tonight. You are not empty. You are not forgotten. You are not barely sustained. You are filled to overflowing with the goodness of God. And as you drift into sleep, your soul may rest in the certainty that His generosity is endless, His peace unshakable, His love beyond measure. Surely goodness. The psalm begins to gather itself here, moving from the overflowing cup to the assurance of what follows every step of life. The word surely is strong. Not maybe, not perhaps, not if the road is easy. But surely. With certainty, with promise, with unshakable truth. Goodness is not occasional. It is constant. Goodness here is more than kindness. It is the steady, faithful benevolence of God. His heart inclined toward blessing, His hands open in care. Goodness is the character of the shepherd written into every detail of His guidance. When He leads, it is good. When He provides, it is good. When He restores, it is good. When He guards, even in shadow, it is good. Picture the sheep once more. Their journey has carried them through green pastures, beside still waters, along safe paths, into shadowed valleys, through danger, to tables of abundance. And now, as they look back, what do they see following behind? Not fear, not emptiness, but goodness. The shepherd has left a trail of blessing with every step, and the sheep are never without it. For us, this means that no matter how life twists, God's goodness weaves through it. Sometimes visible like sunlight on the water, sometimes hidden like seeds beneath the soil, but always there. Always pursuing, always following, always shaping our story with His care. Think of the tapestry of your life. Threads of joy and sorrow, of loss and gain. Some bright, some dark. Yet when woven together, the pattern reveals goodness. Not every thread alone seems good, but the hand of the weaver works them into something beautiful. And when you look back, you see the pattern of His kindness following you all along. Goodness is not only for the bright seasons. It is also for the valleys. It walks behind even when fear is ahead. It is present when we cannot see it, faithful when we do not feel it. Tonight, as you rest, imagine goodness following like a gentle presence. Steady footsteps behind you. Never rushing, never leaving. Simply there. Constant as breath. Let yourself breathe slowly. Inhale, surely goodness. Exhale, follows me. With each breath, let certainty replace doubt. Let peace replace questioning. God's goodness is not a distant hope. It is a present reality. Goodness does not mean life will be without sorrow. It means that even in sorrow, God is working for your good. It means that no darkness can undo the light He brings. It means that every valley, every pasture, every table is marked by His faithful kindness. Surely goodness. Let this promise rest over you tonight. You are not chased by fear, you are followed by blessing. You are not pursued by despair, you are pursued by love. And as you close your eyes, may you feel the steady nearness of God's goodness wrapping around you like a gentle cloak. And mercy. The psalm does not leave us with goodness alone. It pairs it with mercy, as if to remind us that God's care is not only about blessing and abundance. It is also about compassion, forgiveness, tenderness. Goodness gives us what we could never earn. Mercy withholds the judgment we do deserve. Together they form the two hands of the shepherd's love. Mercy is one of the most beautiful words in all of Scripture. It speaks of kindness shown to the undeserving, of compassion extended to the weak, of forgiveness granted to the guilty. Mercy is the shepherd stooping low to lift his sheep when they have wandered, when they have stumbled, when they have fallen into the thorns of their own choosing. Picture the sheep again. Perhaps one strays from the path, chasing some small distraction in the grass. Perhaps it slips and injures its leg on the rocks. Perhaps it is weary and lags behind the flock. The shepherd does not abandon it. He goes after it, bends down, gathers it in his arms. His voice gentle, his grip steady. That is mercy. Not giving up when giving up would be easy. Not condemning when condemnation would be just. But loving. Always loving. This is what David knew of God. He had failed. He had sinned. He had fallen deeply. Yet again and again, God's mercy met him. Not erasing consequence, but never withdrawing love. Never denying forgiveness. Never refusing restoration. Mercy was the song that played beneath every season of his life. For us too, mercy is constant. We stumble, we falter, we lose our way. Yet the shepherd's mercy follows. It is not fragile, not hesitant. It pursues us even when we run. It waits patiently even when we resist. It covers us even when we cannot forgive ourselves. Think of moments in your life when you have felt unworthy. When shame whispered you were beyond hope. When guilt pressed heavily. When failure seemed final. And yet here you are, breathing, listening, resting under the words of Psalm 23. That is mercy. God never let go. His love never broke. His compassion never ended. Mercy is not weakness. It is strength wrapped in tenderness. It is God choosing to remain with His flock even when they stray again and again. It is love that is stronger than rebellion, stronger than guilt, stronger than despair. Tonight, as you lie still, imagine mercy itself following behind you like a quiet companion. not condemning, not scolding, not tallying your failures, but covering, forgiving, healing. Mercy does not erase the past. It redeems it. It takes brokenness and breathes new life into it. Let yourself breathe into this truth. Inhale, and mercy. Exhale, follows me. With each breath, let the shepherd's compassion sink deeper into your weary soul. Let his mercy wash over regrets you still carry. Let his tenderness soften places you have kept hidden. Goodness ensures your needs are met. Mercy ensures your failures do not define you. Together they create a life that is safe, secure, and whole in the shepherd's care. Consider this. Mercy is not only for the end of life, when sins are reviewed and grace is applied. It is for every day, every moment. It is new each morning, fresh like the dew, steady as the sunrise. You cannot exhaust it. You cannot outrun it. You cannot lose it. It follows you, just as surely as goodness does. And mercy does not follow grudgingly. It is not dragged behind unwillingly. It pursues with joy, with eagerness, with delight in restoration. This is the heart of the shepherd. Not only to give, but to forgive. Not only to bless, but to embrace. So tonight, as shadows lengthen and your breathing slows, let mercy wrap around you like a soft blanket, covering shame, soothing guilt, whispering peace. You are forgiven. You are loved. You are not beyond hope. And mercy. Let these words echo in your heart. You do not walk alone. Behind every step, mercy follows. Steady, constant, unbreakable. It will not abandon you. It will not fade. It will not grow weary. For the shepherd's mercy is endless. And tonight, it is yours. All the days of my life. The psalm expands here. From green pastures and still waters, from valleys and shadows, from tables and overflowing cups, to the whole span of a lifetime. The shepherd's care is not seasonal, not fleeting, not for certain chapters only. It is for every moment, from the first cry of birth to the final sigh of life. All the days. Every single one. Think of what that means. Not only the bright days, when the sun is high and laughter fills the air, but also the dim ones, when clouds gather thick and tears fall freely. Not only the days of triumph, when strength carries you easily, but also the days of weakness, when steps falter and courage runs thin. Not only the days you remember with joy, but also the days you would rather forget. In each of them, without exception, the shepherd is present. David had known many kinds of days. Days of victory, when enemies fell and songs of praise rose in the streets. Days of failure, when sin cast a heavy shadow over his soul. Days of exile, hiding in caves, hunted like prey. Days of worship, dancing before the ark of God in joy. And in them all, he learned this truth: the shepherd's goodness and mercy are not occasional guests. They are lifelong companions. All the days of my life. The Hebrew sense of this phrase is sweeping. It does not leave gaps. It does not say most days or some days. It says all. Without exception, without pause, without end. Picture your own life as a path stretching behind and before you. Along it are milestones of memory. Some joyful, some painful, some clear, some blurred by time. Yet woven through them all is a golden thread. The shepherd's presence. His goodness following, his mercy pursuing. Never absent, never silent. Even when unseen. This promise means you are never abandoned to chance. Never left to drift without care. The shepherd is as present in the mundane days as in the extraordinary ones. As near in the quiet routines as in the dramatic moments. As faithful in the unnoticed hours as in the remembered ones. Tonight, as you reflect, let your heart trace back over the days behind you. Can you see it? The goodness that carried you when you did not know how to go on. The mercy that lifted you when you stumbled. The quiet strength that guided you when you felt lost. The shepherd has been there all along. And he will remain for all the days still to come. Let yourself breathe into this truth. Inhale, all the days. Exhale, of my life. With each breath, allow the certainty of God's constancy to settle deeper. You are not left to wonder if tomorrow he will still be near. You are promised that he will. This truth also shapes how we face the future. We do not step into the unknown with dread, but with trust. For the shepherd who was faithful yesterday is faithful still today, and will be faithful again tomorrow. His care does not grow weary. His mercy does not expire. His goodness does not fade with time. And when the final day comes, when breath grows slow, when strength ebbs low, even then, the shepherd remains. The same hand that led you beside still waters will guide you through the last shadow. The same voice that called you into green pastures will whisper peace as you cross into eternal rest. All the days means even that day. And beyond it, forever. All the days of my life. Let these words cover you tonight. You are not carried only for a season, but for a lifetime. Every dawn that rises, every dusk that falls, the shepherd is near. His goodness behind you, his mercy beside you, his love around you. All the days. Every day. Always. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The psalm rises here to its gentle summit. From pastures and waters. From valleys and shadows. From tables and overflowing cups. The journey arrives at home. The shepherd who has guided through every season now leads into his dwelling. Not for a night, not for a season, not for a lifetime only, but forever. To dwell is more than to visit. It is to remain, to belong, to be at home. David's words are not of a guest who comes and goes. They are of a child who lives in the Father's house. Secure, welcome, never turned away. For Israel, the house of the Lord was the tabernacle, and later the temple. The place where God's presence dwelled among his people. For David, longing for that presence was the deepest desire of his heart. One thing I ask of the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. He longed not only for the courts of worship, but for the nearness of God himself. Here, at the close of Psalm 23, that longing finds its promise. The shepherd does not only guide through life. He brings his flock home. He gathers them into his house. He welcomes them to dwell with him forever. Picture the scene. The long journey is finished. The valleys past, the enemies silenced, the shadows gone. The flock enters a wide and beautiful house. Its doors open wide, its lamps glowing with eternal light. Inside there is rest without fear, joy without sorrow, peace without end. The shepherd himself welcomes each one, calling them by name, leading them to their place at his table. Home. Forever. This is the promise that steadies the heart in every season. That no matter what roads twist or what valleys darken, the destination is sure. The house of the Lord. The eternal dwelling of his presence. The place where love is unbroken and life unending. Tonight, as you rest, let your heart imagine that home. Its walls radiant with light. Its halls filled with song. Its air thick with peace that cannot be shaken. There are no shadows there. No fear, no enemy, no sorrow. Only the presence of God, warm as firelight, gentle as morning sun, endless as the heavens. To dwell forever means that nothing can remove you. Not sin, for mercy covers it. Not death, for the shepherd has conquered it. Not time, for eternity has no end. You are his, and his house is your home, forever. Think of what forever means. Not just endless time, but fullness of presence. No more separation, no more wandering, no more longing for what feels far away. The shepherd will be before you always. You will see him, know him, rest in him without interruption, without shadow, without end. Let yourself breathe into this truth. Inhale, I will dwell. Exhale, forever. With every breath, let hope sink deeper. Let peace expand wider. Let the promise of eternal home steady your spirit tonight. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Let this closing promise of Psalm 23 be the lullaby that carries you into sleep. You are not lost. You are not wandering without end. You are being led home. And home is eternal, safe, radiant with love. Forever. The psalm has ended. Yet its music lingers. Words that began with the whisper, "The Lord is my shepherd," have carried us through green pastures and still waters, through restoration and righteousness, through valleys shadowed and tables spread, through cups overflowing, goodness and mercy following, until at last we are home, dwelling in the house of the Lord forever. It is more than poetry, more than ancient lines remembered. It is a map of trust, a hymn of peace, a lullaby for the soul. Tonight, let the journey of Psalm 23 cradle your heart. You are the beloved sheep. The shepherd is near. His rod and staff steady, his hand gentle, his voice calm. Each image in this psalm is not far, not abstract. It is present for you. Here, now. Rest in the pasture. Soft grass beneath your weary spirit. Rest beside the still waters, their calm rhythm soothing the thoughts that run restless. Rest in the valley, knowing shadows do not mean absence. Rest at the table, where abundance waits even in the presence of enemies. Rest under the shepherd's anointing, his oil fragrant with honor and healing. Rest with the overflowing cup, knowing his blessing is more than enough. Rest in the promise of goodness and mercy, following all your days. And finally, rest in the assurance that you are going home. Home to the shepherd's house. Home forever. Let yourself breathe slowly now. Inhale, "The Lord is my shepherd." Exhale, "I am at peace." With every breath, let the words settle deeper, until they become not only prayer, but rest. The shepherd is near. Nearer than your heartbeat, nearer than your breath. He watches as you lie down. He guards as you drift into dreams. He whispers peace over your spirit. His presence is the pasture, the water, the rod, the staff, the table, the oil, the overflowing cup. He is all of it, and he is enough. Even now, his goodness follows behind you. His mercy wraps around you. His love steadies you. His promise carries you. You need not fear. You need not strive. You need only rest. And as your eyes grow heavy, remember this: you are never alone. Not in the bright fields, not in the dark valleys, not in the quiet rooms of night. The shepherd is always with you, and he will lead you safely home. Psalm 23 began with the shepherd, and it ends with him. For all of life, and for all of eternity, he is the one who leads, who guards, who restores, who provides, who comforts, who blesses, and who loves without end. So let your soul rest in his care tonight. Sleep under his watchful presence. Dream in his peace. Wake in his mercy. And know, beyond every shadow, beyond every fear, beyond every day, that forever you will dwell in the house of the Lord. Forever.